Parents, what's one sentence you'll always regret telling your child? I wish you would be more like your sister. These 9 words ended with my son getting paralyzed from the waist down. I am 42, a mom to 2 teenagers. Lily, 18, my daughter, sharp as a tack, fiercely intelligent, a straight A overachiever who collects academic accolades and college acceptance letters like they're going out of style. And then there's Ethan, my son, 17, sensitive, introspective, a dreamer. Lately, he's been stumbling, not just small slips, but significant falls. My disappointment in this growing string of failures, and his apparent inability to grasp the need for focus, for drive, had been building for months. It was a heavy, suffocating pressure in my chest, tightening with each bad grade, each shrug, until I let it slip. We were at dinner, the familiar Tuesday night scene in our kitchen, the heart of our home, which lately felt more like a battleground. Homework sprawled across the worn wooden table, Lily's neat, organized stacks, Ethan's crumpled papers pushed to the side. Mark, my husband, was flipping through the newspaper, a silent observer in the escalating tension that seemed to permeate the air whenever Ethan's schoolwork came up. Lily was recounting her day, specifically her AP exams. Her voice was bright, confident. I think I aced the physics one, Mom. The free response questions were exactly what Miss Boyer Davies prepped us for. I smiled, a genuine, unclouded smile. Lily made it so easy to be proud. That's amazing, sweetie. I knew you could do it. You always put in the work. Lily beamed, pushing a strand of her perfectly highlighted hair behind her ear. She had inherited Mark's easy confidence, his ability to move through the world without friction. Ethan sat opposite her, a stark contrast. He was pushing peas around his plate with his fork, head down. I knew his math test grades had come back that day. He'd left the crumpled paper sticking out of his backpack, a large, damning D scrawled in red pen at the top. Another one. It wasn't just math. His grades across the board had been slipping since the beginning of the year. From B's and C's, he was now consistently pulling D's and even an F in history last term. I felt the familiar pressure building in my chest, the disappointment, the worry, the frustration that he wasn't trying hard enough, or wasn't trying in the right way. I sighed, a little louder than I intended, the sound sharper, in the quiet moments between Lily's cheerful recounting and Mark turning a page. Ethan, I said, my voice tight, strained with frustration I was trying and failing to contain. You really need to try harder. Look at Lily. I gestured vaguely towards his sister, sitting there radiating effortless success. She puts in the effort, and it shows. She doesn't struggle with these things. Ethan's shoulders slumped a little more, a familiar, defeated posture. He didn't look up from his plate. He just kept pushing those peas, a small, silent act of defiance, or perhaps resignation. Lily rolled her eyes, a typical teenage gesture, but it felt like she was agreeing with me, highlighting the vast, ever-widening gap between them in my mind. The easy one and the difficult one. The success story and the question mark. Ethan just kept staring at his peas, silent, unreachable. Later that week, Ethan mumbled something about struggling with algebra, about the teacher going too fast, about not understanding the concepts. He was sitting on the edge of the couch, twisting his hands in his lap. I was at the kitchen counter, buried in paperwork from my job. Permission slips, requests for counselor meetings, urgent emails from demanding parents. The usual deluge. I barely looked up from the glowing screen. My mind was on a crisis at school, on a student who needed immediate help. Just study more like Lily does, sweetie, I said, my voice dismissive, detached, not grasping the quiet desperation in his tone. The tentative reach for help buried beneath the mumbled words. She spends hours on her homework. She joins study groups. That's what you need to do. Ethan retreated to his room. I heard his door close softly. I felt a pang, a tiny prickle of guilt, a fleeting thought that maybe I should have listened more closely, asked more questions. But the stack of papers called to me. I dismissed the feeling. He wasn't dumb. He just wasn't applying himself. He was being lazy. He needed to step up, as Mark, ever the pragmatic one, often said. He needed to be more like Lily, more disciplined, more focused.